Here's that poor baby. So you can see here, got a lot of waviness in that, but it's pretty straight. So I'm not going to hammer it on it anymore, but it definitely needs filler there. And the little filler spot here, I'm going to put fiberglass in there because I got that little divot. So I'll put fiberglass filler in there, regular filler down here, and get the door hopefully back to some semblance of normal here, and continue on. Alright, there's the front valance. Done as far as I'm concerned. As far as the filler and everything else, you can see it's still a little wavy at the bottom. I'm just not going to concern myself. So flexible anyway. So I'm going to get that into build primer now, and then start working that a little bit, get that sanded down, smoothed up a little bit, and then once I get this into build primer, while I'm waiting for that stuff to dry up, I'll start on the door. Alright, first round of filler on there. You can see I filled in some low spots here and here. This one's still a little low here, so I'm going to go ahead and put another skim coat here of filler, but everything else blocked out pretty well. A couple high spots, but I can't feel them. And you can see here probably a couple low spots in here, but again, can't really feel that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this little spot filled in, sand it down again, and then get it ready for round 2 of epoxy primer. Filler's done. Got that extra little piece filled in. Happy with the way that it turned out. You can see I got the door handle on there. And again, I'm back to essentially no gap. Maybe a real little bit right at the front here. I tried to pry it up a little bit with a screwdriver. I can still work on that a little bit. But all in all, happy with the recovery effort, I guess you could call it. And now I will get this cleaned up and get it in epoxy primer. And I have a guest appearance. Dun dun dun! So I was cleaning up the paint booth a little bit. You can see I kind of rolled the edges, gave myself a little bit more room down the side there. And while I was back there, I found the windscreen frame, which I kind of totally forgot about. So I think I'm going to try to get to this today real quick. This cover piece, you can see it's pop riveted in, several pop rivets there. Take that off. I'd rather not do that, but it is you know, a place where water could have collected and maybe messed that up under there. But this piece is in pretty good shape, and I don't really intend to do anything with that. The other thing that I'm a little bit more concerned with is I have all the black vinyl on there. So this stuff is essentially not possible to get fitted anymore. So I'm going to take the heat gun and try to get this stuff off instead of taping it over or anything like that. I want to get epoxy behind all that stuff too. So I'm going to go with that here and see how it goes. Pull in the, I don't even know what this thing is properly called, silver thing off here first. There are rubber plugs. You can see those. That's for if I had a hard top. The hard top would had front posts and they would fit down into that. So it's got buttons, snap buttons on either side for putting the hard top on, and there's little clips here. I'll show you a close-up of them. So these little guys are in pretty good shape. I probably will just hold on to these. I just ordered a whole bunch of plugs from Rimmers that showed up. I don't remember if I ordered these specifically or not. I don't think I did. Alright, so now those are out. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rivets, and one already broken. So we'll start drilling those out. There's definitely some adhesive behind here. Probably that mastic stuff. Yep. Alright, so that's the back of it. You can see this mastic tape in here. I'll have to clean that up. But otherwise, that looks to be in pretty good shape. Especially on the inside, and no apparent rust there. So that's a beautiful thing. Alright, well, that mastic comes off pretty easily just scraping it. Obviously, I'll get it completely clean. This black mastic stuff is also went in between the windscreen frame itself and the body of the car, just as a sealant. Alright, that's cleaned up enough for now. Probably polish this up pretty nicely. It's just aluminum. So now, get it turned over here. Take the heat gun to some of this stuff. See if it releases. I'll use low heat at first just so I don't burn something that I don't want to. Obviously I want to be pretty careful, especially around that corner there on this seam here, because it'd be very easy to slice right through it. Definitely want the low heat. The vinyl is starting to get really flexible. Probably be pretty easy to burn it. Alright, well, based on how this came off, it's going to be definitely something that I think if I reuse this piece, I'll want to heat up. With the heat gun, as I roll it out, it definitely becomes much more pliable and flexible, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the way to go. It's going to be kind of tricky, I think, though, to get it heated up and then have it stay in the same spot while it's hot. But anyway, there's that piece. I'm just going to go around and get the rest of it, and didn't destroy it, so there's that. Alright, so that went pretty well. Didn't tear anything, and we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to reuse that stuff or not, but it's definitely in good enough shape to do so. There's little clips I was telling you about. That one's in bad light. This little clip here, if you can see that, what that's for, that's better. What that's for is you clip a little hook that's on the soft top, and it fits in behind there. And then when you roll the window up, if you can kind of vision that, the window covers over top of that, and it's supposed to be an anti-theft thing so that people can't unsnap your soft top. Whether or not they can just slice right through it with a knife, that's another matter. So I got some residual adhesive on here, the heavier stuff that you can see there and in the corners. That's stuff that I had done when I first got the car to try and, because the stuff was peeling away. Interestingly, here is 2 threaded inserts in a hole. I don't know what these holes here are for, on that side as well. So the only thing that I can think of that that's for is for an actual hardtop that kind of clicks into your top of the windshield. Like the Mark IIIs and Ons had a hardtop that wasn't completely removable. The Mark I and the Mark II, the frame and the soft top all came off in one shot, and you stowed it in the trunk. It wasn't until the Mark IIIs that you started to throw the hardtop back and it stayed kind of in the back, all folded up. So I'll have to put that out on my favorite forum and see if that's a design change that they knew they had coming but they hadn't implemented yet, or what. I'm pretty positive this is a original to the car windshield frame, and I don't have any evidence that it's ever been off. Everything was very sticky still. So, and obviously original stuff there. But we'll go ahead and get this cleaned up, get all this adhesive off there, and get it prepped for epoxy primer. I do have some epoxy inducing right now for the door, so I may have to mix up a separate batch. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough there, but we'll see. All right, got all the adhesive off the windscreen here on the inside. A couple brass brazing spots along the whole length here. So one thing to note, using a wire wheel to get that adhesive off, that does not make it ready for paint. As a matter of fact, wire wheels are bad for the paint because they tend to smooth the metal out and don't provide a nice rough surface for them. So just, you know, the wire wheel did real well to get the adhesive off, but it's not a good paint prep step. So I'll go back over that. Now I'm going to take the entire outside of the windscreen down to bare metal, and then the inside we'll look at what we're going to do in there. If I some places that are easy to go to bare metal, I will, and then scuff it with 60 grit all over the place in preparation for some epoxy primer. All right, windscreen is ready to paint. I scuffed everything up that you can see that's bare. Well, I scuffed everything up with 60 grit sandpaper, and I took everything that is going to get fresh paint top coat wise, or is going to be a seam. So like this here is where that metal plate, that aluminum plate cover goes. Underneath where the car is going to, where the mating point between the windshield and the car is. Everything that is a potential rust area, or everything that's going to get painted directly, I took down to bare metal, scuffed it all with 60 grit. Everything else, either because the windscreen's in there and you got a rubber seal, whatever, I just left as the red, and then I will go along and hit it with, I did scuff it, and I still will epoxy prime it. And then I got the door over there. I'm going to hit everything in wax and grease remover again because I made a little bit of a mess in here. I want to get it cleaned up again, and otherwise that should be, I do need to tape off the threads of the bottom of the windscreen frame, but otherwise it should be ready to paint here in a little bit. Well, finally, after months, I dare say, it's time to start working on the bonnet. I have the windscreen and the door in a single coat of epoxy. Second coat is inducing. Pretty happy with how the windscreen came out, especially on the parts that are going to get paint. I think I may have found my one and only panel that's not going to require any work. No rust whatsoever, not even any minor pitting. I was really concerned up here, that's why I took that off, but nothing. Unfortunately, I did forget to drill out one of the pop rivets right there before I painted, so I probably will just leave this in epoxy. I don't really see a reason to put build primer on it since there's nothing to build. And I got the door over there. So what I'm going to start with on the boot lid, and I don't have a whole lot of time today, so I'm not going to really get too into this. I'll get this second coat of epoxy on and get out of here. But I got this good ding right here that was covered with filler, and then all the nose here. You can see how bad that nose is, I think. Gonna try the slapping spoon and see if I can work it out somewhat with that. I don't know if this had ever been worked by the previous owner or not. I don't notice any drill holes. That was obviously how he went with all the drill holes that are in here for the slide hammer. So I have a feeling that he just simply covered this in Bondo. So hopefully that'll give me a little bit more pliability to work with, and we'll see how it goes. But again, I don't expect some grand results out of this. This will be the one thing that I may have to purchase the stud shooter for, the Zinger, I think Elin calls it, and Chef Tush, and pull these dents out, but we'll see how it goes. 2 wet coats on both the windscreen frame and the door, and that's that. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me for today and for the rest of the weekend. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a comment below. I appreciate all the heartfelt comments that I got regarding me dropping the door yesterday, especially to Lynn, helping me keep it in perspective. I appreciate that. it is looking much better, and it looks like it's going to come through just fine. Did get the windscreen done also, so I was happy to do that. That won't require any further work. Otherwise, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. I think I'm still full. So that's it for me. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for liking it, of course. Thanks again for subscribing. Have a good rest of your weekend. Cheers.